Namaste, welcome to episode 10 of Vicharsthal. This is the finale episode, and it feels so amazing that I have been able to do 10 wonderful, enriching episodes with everyday superstars. And I'm glad that the whole intention of coming up with a video content series like this, I think I have somewhat achieved that because we have been able to learn a lot from their journeys, from the work they've been doing, and we have also covered a variety of topics, and it's really wonderful the way you all have responded to all of these sessions. And I'm sure even today's episode is going to be very enriching for all of us. I personally feel that this topic does not get its due. I mean, there is so much of awkwardness the moment we say sex, and there'll be hush hush, and people would go like, okay, what? So I think even though we say that, yeah, times are changing, but I think we really need to do a lot more to open our minds, and also I think to also understand what is the right way to go about talking to kids about sexuality. We talk about educating them, but do we really know what are the things we're doing wrong and what are the things we must be doing? So I have with me the woman who is really inspiring. I have always been amazed by the work that she does, and I think there is no one better than her to talk to us on sexuality education for children and teens. So let me get Niyati Shah on stream. Hi Niyati, welcome to episode 10 of Vicharsthal.
Hi, Anupama, and thank you so much for having me on this platform and giving me time to speak with you and the audience that will be listening to us.
Yeah, thank you. So, for the benefit of the audience, I would like to introduce Niyati to all of you. So, Niyati N. Shah is a sexuality educator, counselor, TEDx speaker, and author. In her journey, she has been associated with 55 plus schools and has conducted 350 plus workshops. She has touched 18,000 plus families and has empowered 55,000 plus kids. She is a passionate educator and strongly believes that it's time someone stood up and spoke on sexuality, and I completely agree with that. She educates and empowers parents, children, and adults in the areas of sexuality awareness and health. So Niyati, this show, the concept, the tagline is your ideation, our inspiration, and that is why I always begin with, the start. So what is it that made you feel that, yes, this is something I want to do? What made you feel very strongly about sexuality education? If you could just share about how did you decide to get into this?
So it all started with me as a mother, Anupama. I am a BCom graduate and I have no formal education in either medicine or psychiatry as such, psychology.
Okay.
But as a person, I think I've always been the curious kind. I've been somebody who does not feel the hesitation to do what is right. I do not, I won't call myself bold. I just don't have that hesitation. I don't see it as a wrong thing when
Right.
it's education to begin with. So as a mother, I promised my firstborn that there will be no question that I will not be, able to give you an answer. Not out of arrogance, but even if I don't know, I will look up, but I will be the source which you can always come back to, return to a
Yes.
safe place. And I think by the time he was 6, I did not know anything about sex education. And one fine day, my mentor, my first teacher, Dr. Rajan Bhosle, he came to the school and he gave a lecture on sex education, and I was zapped. I was shocked. How come I did not know about it? Because the kind of parent I wanted to be, I was reading so much of content on parenting, and nowhere did I find any mention about sex education. So this is almost 11 years back that I'm talking about. And that's where my journey began. And I said, I have to learn this for my child's sake. And by the time I had my second kid, and I was already onto the path of learning, understanding, reading a lot, researching, trying to figure out that why did something like this be missed out from all the
Yes.
parenting platforms to begin with, and secondly that I was misappropriately touched myself as a kid when I was about 9-10 years of age. How did I not think of talking about this to my child? So there were these mixed emotions which I had, and I said something so important and we don't talk about it.
Right.
Already by then I knew about the couples, and your friends are talking, your family, your cousins are talking, everybody has issues with relationships. So there was a lot that started coming to my mind, that it all starts now, it all starts with the children. the kind of conditioning we've had and the kind of conditioning we are continuing with our children. So somewhere that change needs to start. And that's how I began, slow and steady. So when I learned for my own children's sake, fortunately, I also got a certificate of a sex educator, and I said nothing better. Maybe it's destined for me, and I need to speak about it. And I just started
Right.
my journey right there.
Right. Right. That's really nice to know, Niyati. I think that's very inspiring that how your challenge as a parent, really motivated you to take to this. I especially liked one thing which you said about this is not about being bold. Like, I mean, like you said, it is just about not hesitating. And I think that is all it is about. We don't really need, and I think it's not about being bold, right? You're talking about something very important, very normal, and I think that's how all of us should look at it, because I know how it is otherwise. People be like, oh, she's such a bold woman, she's talking about sexuality, but yeah, it's just about talking about something which is it is a part of every life, yet we are so hush hush about it. So I think, yeah, that's really good to know. But I'm sure, considering the kind of topic this is, how it is still a taboo. Like we say that, yeah, we've progressed so much, but there's still, that kind of an awkwardness. So I'm sure in the beginning, especially, you must have faced numerous challenges, I'm sure, at least, with respect to maybe how people looked at it, or probably, the kind of response you were getting. So if you could talk about the challenges that you faced, and then how did you overcome them?
Yeah. I definitely had a lot of challenges. I've been in this industry for about 10 years now.
Right.
And I remember initially, because I was just doing safe and unsafe touch, initially my friends and family were like very happy, okay, Niyati, come talk to our children. I started very small that way because it was not supposed to be a career decision.
Right.
But after those few groups, it all started, cooling down. Nobody's asking for it. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody wants it. Now, how do I reach furthermore? The 100 kids that I had around me, I've already spoken to them, the mothers. But now what? But fortunately, there were some mentors in my life, who gave me those opportunities to reach out to schools. Even though the payment was nothing, it was only my transportation going and coming. But that field work for 4 years helped me big time. These were children in classrooms. I would get only half an hour, 45 minutes. At the most, I would get 1.5 hours with these children. But so the parents would not come forward. The schools did not want me to go and talk to the kids. So the schools would say, it's, what if the parents don't like it? What if they have an objection? Sex education is perceived more like sex education and not sexuality education.
Yes.
So the schools had issues and they didn't want to pay for something like this. It was not a necessity, not needed at all. Why should we get into something like this? Why should we handle something like this? They were also scared of parents' reaction. Parents were wanting the schools to do it, and the schools were kind of scared of parents' reaction. So all this was going on that time. Fortunately, with all these leaders and whatever chances I got, and these are those 55 schools, approximately, which gave me that chance again and again and every year to go back to those students, to talk to them about different topics. And that's where I realized that children want to know. And the parents were not allowed, parents or teachers, the adults, basically the adult society, was not giving them that opportunity to know because of the taboo around it. So my challenges were more like, kids want the answers, they are Googling for answers. So I didn't want to Google. I wanted to be there, but the parents or the adults were not, giving me that way in. So all the schools that have given me this opportunity, I cannot thank them enough.
I'm sure. Yes, true.
Yeah, and one more challenge, what happens is, because of such topics where parents are also not aware about the facts, they want to sit with the child during the session. And these are the times when children don't open up. So I had those challenges also where the children would want to talk, but because parents would be around, they would not talk. I also had parents who would hold me, catch hold of me beginning of the lecture, and they would tell me, you will not talk about sex, you will not talk about masturbation, you will not talk about pornography, nudity. I said, this is a sex education class. What it cannot be. That's weird. And breast development. There's a lot to be spoken, maybe not directly about sex, but so many other topics. So there were a lot of challenges in the beginning. Definitely,
I'm sure.
yes.
Yeah. I am, and it's such a mental block. And like you said, I think some way people think sex education, but we talk about how to have sex. So I mean, like you said, there are so many more things to be aware of, talk about, and it's all important. So yeah, there's so much of, I mean, that hesitation. And I also work very closely with children, and even I have realized this. That a lot of things I mean, I always tell this to parents that trust me, your kids know more than you think they know. So
Yes.
might as well, you be the person who is actually educating them rather than, they just, like you said, go and Google or, so we have to. Because I remember once during one of my classes, I happened to talk to the kids because, there was such a topic, and I spoke to them about LGBTQ community. Like, they were like, okay, what exactly it is? So there was a parent who was not comfortable, and I was like, it's okay, like, kids need to know, right? So I mean, yeah, I guess we really need to open up our minds, I think, before we actually go and
So one of the biggest challenges, Anupama, is also that when we educate the kids do know and do have a lot of knowledge, but
right.
later on it becomes more challenging to continue the relationship with them, to continue the education.
Right.
It is not a geography chapter where you just talk about one
Yes,
state and it's okay.
exactly. That's a very valid point.
It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
to be a continuation, it's a lot of learning of, it's basically a life skill which cannot get over in 1.5 hours. So that
Yes,
is something
yes.
I would want all parents to understand, that if it's a life skill, let your child, it's like Bharatnatyam. Give it the 7 years it needs, it's
I
like that.
agree. Yes, that, and it makes so much sense because, say, if my daughter is 6 years old today, so I may talk to her, say, about, maybe menstruation or other such things, and slowly there's a lot they need to keep, like you said, that thing has to keep going. So yes, parents, whoever is watching, please keep this in mind, that as Niyati said, it's a life skill. And I think you gave a very good example. It's like, say they're learning some, art form. You have to keep at it. So I think, yes, at that I completely agree with that. Niyati, you of course mentioned about how you've conducted so many, workshops in the schools with children and with teens. So, if you could just throw some light on what is the kind of content, like what are the things you touch upon when you talk to the kids? Also, how has the reception been? Because, like you just mentioned, that kids want to know. It's the adults who have the issues. So, do you think that yes, kids are actually much more perceptive and understanding than we give them, credit for? Because generally it's like, oh, nahi, wo abhi bahut chota hai ye janne ke liye, or things like that. So, how has your experience been? If you could just talk about that.
Yeah. So I begin at the age of about 5 years, 6 years of age. Younger
Okay.
kids, I don't talk to directly. It could be a game format if the school is requesting for the
Right.
junior KG or the nursery level, but they don't know what we are doing with them. We are just giving them a lot of, mindset changes, if I could say, give them a healthier mindset in form of games. They don't know what this is all about. The older children from 6 to about 9 years of age, we talk majorly about safe and unsafe touch in different formats. We talk to them about what is safe, what is unsafe. We do not use the words of good and bad touch. We use safe and unsafe, which is more clearer for them to understand the difference
Right.
between the two, because
Right.
we all know that the sexual energy can do make children feel good also.
Yes.
Not that they are sexual, let me clear that here, but still the pleasure is there. Not sexual pleasure, but the pleasure, plain,
Yes.
simple
Yes.
pleasure. So the kids need to have clarity in what they are understanding. So
Hmm.
what is a good hug? You cannot demonstrate all this for them. So we
Hmm.
touch upon a lot of games, a lot of interactive, where at least for 40. So we use about 45 minutes,
Okay.
stories and games and interactive Q&As, where they get the concept of what we are trying to say, and not just give them a lot of fearful stories where we are scaring them that somebody
Hmm.
will touch.
Hmm.
It's not like
Right.
that. Pure
Right.
understanding of what is safe, what is unsafe, what will you do if you ever think, or if you're confused, and even if you don't know, what will you do. Now, very very small example, I'll take a couple of minutes here to explain the whole question that you've
Yes.
asked me.
Yes. Yes.
um,
Yes.
so a simple question, like we tell our children, that if somebody touches you inappropriately, you should run away from there. So we think we've done our job by empowering them and telling them that you should run away from there. But you know what? When the child decides to run away, the child does not know where to go. So you have to give them that clarity. If you are in school, go to the staff room. If you are home, go to your room. If you are wherever the child may be, and so that kind of clarity needs to be given to the kids. So
Very
when we
well.
also do the like, who will you go and talk to, who are your trusted adults, we don't tell them that you should go and talk to your grandparents or your parents or your teachers. We ask them. So their subconscious knows everything. Anupama, you understand this better. We are dealing with
Yes.
children. Their subconscious also knows who they are comfortable with. So when you give them that space, write down the names, or who are your teachers, who are your people who you trust, who will you go and talk to. When it is those names are right in front of them, it's easier for them to go towards it. So these are the
Yeah.
kind of exercises and clarity games that we play with them. So that's
Lovely.
still about 9 years of age. Then from 9 to almost 14, 13, 14,
Mhm.
we talk in depth about puberty. So
Yes.
9 to 11 is just giving them an idea of what is going to happen to them and a
Right.
little bit of why it is going to happen to them. We don't get into too much of science of hormones and all the changes and scientific
Yes.
terms. Just give them a happy understanding that this is what you're expecting, the
Right.
hair on the body, and those kind of things. Then from 12 onwards, we start diving a little deeper. We talk about hormones, we talk about attraction, we talk about pornography, we talk about masturbation. If we are, yeah, we do talk about masturbation.
Okay.
For boys specifically, we talk about erections, ejaculations, wet dreams, because nobody's talking to the boys. Periods, everybody's talking.
Yes.
The red dot
Yes.
is very
Yes. So
obvious,
true.
but the
Right.
blue drop is not. So
Yeah.
that is where
Very
we
true.
focus on, where we talk to the boys about the wet dreams, so that they don't have anybody to go to. Girls still talk to their mothers, on an
Yes.
average, on a general platform,
Yes.
but boys
Yes.
don't.
That's true. Yeah.
So we talk to the boys about those, and with the girls we talk about breast development, periods, hygiene. So with the boys, so these are the kind of mixed combination of different topics, also depending on the time we have and what
Of
school
course.
it is.
Right.
So depending, so these are majorly the topics we cover. Then from 14 onwards, almost till about 16, 14, 15, so ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, basically, we start getting into attraction, romance, heartbreaks, relationships, contraception, pregnancy. So we give them a deeper understanding of why we are telling you to be more empowered before you take a decision. So by
Yeah.
12 years, we know there are a lot of girls who've already matured and are sexual, are attracted, and these
Right.
girls are going out and kissing, even though it's a small number, but it's happening, and it's bigger a
Yes.
number than every year. Every last year it's a bigger number today. So we talk to the girls about how to make that decision. Not right now, wait till you are about 18. We give them 18 to suspect that by 16 it's still going to happen. We try
Yes.
to push it just by giving them scientific understanding. The STDs we talk about. So these are the kind of topics. Now, the reason I know that they want to know is, see, it's very difficult for me as a teacher, mentor, trainer to go into a classroom for 45 minutes and talk about a topic nobody talks about.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are giggling and laughing and whispering into each other's ears.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure. Yes.
so what I do is I give them chits to begin with. I tell them these are the broad topics. Ask me anything on this. It could be anything. Don't hesitate. There's no name on the chit. Go for it, and then all the questions come to me. So
Wow.
even though
That's a good way to go about it.
yes,
Yeah.
so even though I might have just 10, 15 questions I may have broadly answered, knowing what is the common topic out of all of them, I have a bank of questions that children ask. And sometimes it's very challenging because the kind of, they are not interested in sex. They are interested in more about how pregnancy happens. How is what is
Mm-hmm.
the childbirth like? What is a contraceptive? Is IPIL okay if we want to take it? What about relationships? What will I do if he flirts with me? What will I do if she breaks my heart? These are the questions they want to know. So
Which is interesting.
very
Yeah.
few of them actually go out of line and try to act smart, and so there are some deliberate questions we throw on the crowd just to get a feel of what this
Mm.
group is all about.
Mm.
And then there are some kids, those few smart ones who'll always say that I think pornography is okay. It teaches you everything about sex that nobody else teaches us. And then I get a sense of, okay, now he is going to lead this if I don't take
Right.
over. And
Right.
then I call him, make him the leader, and then it becomes like a fun session. But
Correct.
yes, there are challenges, and yeah, so
Yeah,
approximately
and
that's the topic.
I'm sure that's not easy at all because, like you said, even I was thinking that, to break that ice and talk about this, definitely, however, you may yourself be very open or, like not hesitant, but yeah, it is, I'm sure, not easy what you do. And really, hats off to you. And actually, thank you also because, you do something which probably a lot of us, as parents, maybe we want to do, but we just don't know what to say, when to say, and we just get that cold feet when we get the question. So I think it's good, what you're doing. It's really helpful even for the parents. So, just taking on from, what you were talking about, and you see, now, of course, you do these workshops with the children, but it's also important for parents, to keep having these conversations because ultimately kids are going to, come to us and ask all the random questions. Like even my child asked me, how was I born? And, like, why is it that, only, like, how is exactly the baby made? And all, I mean, obviously they are curious. They would want to know. Most of the times what I've seen is that either, we, change the topic, or we'll just answer some imaginary thing and all. We don't really give them very clear answers, which I feel is something, partly because of our inhibitions, partly it's also, I think, because we really don't know how we should probably be answering this. So in general, what do you think, like, I mean, why, first of all, why do you think it's very important that parents must be having these conversations with kids? And how do you think we can go about it the right way? Like, are there some suggestions for parents, like if we get such questions, how do we handle, or, how do we answer in a way that is satisfying for them, yet, maybe, yeah, we are probably like, I don't know if there is something like too much information, but yeah, if you could just, educate us on that actually, like how should
Sure,
we be approaching this?
sure.
Yeah.
So there's not too much information taken, but it could be too much information given. So
Right,
information
right.
has to be given age appropriately. And
Yes.
if you have not decided to give that information, and if it's asked, then also
Yep.
you have to wait and then give only as
Right,
much as asked. So
right,
these are
right.
two main important points parents should remember. So see, the question that your daughter asked you, how was I born? These questions come at age 4 and 5.
Yes, exactly. I remember she was 4.5, I think, when she asked this for the first time, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
parents think, oh, sex education starts when they start puberty. हमको तब बात
Yeah.
करनी है. But
Huh,
no,
huh.
sex education starts now when child starts
Right,
asking you
right.
obvious questions. She wants
Exactly.
to know, how did I come here? He wants
Hmm.
to know what happened. I mean, the existence is always questioned. And that
Yeah.
question lingers on later to say, what is my purpose of life? So when
Yes,
you
yes.
give them that clarity, simple stuff. Okay, now this is where a little bit of pre-preparation is needed for
Hmm.
all
Hmm.
parents.
Yeah.
Like, you know that your child is going to get into a junior KG, or nowadays even playgroup. You know he will be taught A B C D E, like, for on a general platform. You know you are ready to teach that further ahead because you're already equipped. You know how to teach, you know what to
Right,
do, because you've
right.
done it yourself. So
Correct,
I
correct.
think before you teach your child, educate yourself. This education was given to us in school. There are a lot of schools who did give this education even 30 years back, but
Hmm.
sometimes the information was only limited to the stay free or those carefree pads. Not
Yeah,
all
yeah.
schools have taught you a lot about gender equality, and today's generation is different than what we were. We were not high on gender equality. Today's generation is, you don't even need to teach them.
Yes.
They already feel equal. So when you
Correct,
talk to,
correct.
when you talk to my son, and when he's making all his plans and he's sharing about his life, you can see that he's like, I will have to learn all the domestic work. My wife's not going to be
Hmm.
sitting at
Hmm.
home. So it's already there. Of course, there's a lot of exposure, reading, understanding, all
Hmm.
given to them, but the parent has to be 2 steps ahead.
Yes,
You have
yes.
to know what is the sexual development of a child, at what age, what is normal, what do they do, not
Right.
to judge them for certain
Hmm.
actions, For example, if a 5-year-old is still touching his penis or roaming around naked in the house, there's no need to feel that, oh, he's forming bad habits. We
Hmm.
need to know it's a natural way of growing up. All
Hmm.
kids do it. Some
Yeah.
parents
Yeah.
allow it, some parents don't allow it. But all kids have that phase that they are exploring themselves. They
Of
like the
course.
cold air or the wind on their body, on their skin after a shower. We do too, but now we've suppressed kind of somewhere. These are the kind of things you have to
Yeah.
start understanding,
Right.
learning, change a little bit of, the conditioning that we have been brought
Yes.
up.
Yes. Yes.
So that helps big time when it comes to teaching your child about sexuality education. And most importantly, as you asked me, why we as parents need to talk? Multiple reasons. One, you know your child the best.
Yeah.
Even if a teacher is been with your child for many years, it will still be maximum of 3 to 4 to 5 years if your child is still a little older.
Right.
You know your child the best. You know what language or what is the right time and the way to speak to them. So that's one reason. Two, because there is nobody more consistent in his life than you will be, keeping
Yeah.
that life continues from 0 years, from where your vibrations and your beliefs will go to him or her.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
all the way till probably they get married and they start to plan having children. Sex education
Yeah.
goes on for that long,
True. True. True.
bringing
True.
them out
True.
of heartbreaks,
Yes.
allowing them to go into another relationship. There's so much happening in today's times.
Exactly. Right.
So
Right. Right. Right.
that one constant, solid source of support that the children can have. So that's why
Mm.
parents should talk.
Yeah.
And the
Right.
most importantly, if you won't, somebody else is, and you don't know
Mm.
what you're saying. And if
Mm.
it's not somebody else, it's Google. And Google
Mm.
has no filters. So even when younger children of 5, 6 years of age, when they Google like kiss, you have to see what comes. You have to see what comes. And then you know what kind of content is going to our kids. The content is available to them on their fingertips. You
Mm.
don't want them to consume everything that's on Google. It does
Right.
not filter
Right.
according to age.
Right.
So
Right.
these are the main reasons why a parent should
Yeah.
talk about
Very
sexuality
valid
education.
reasons. Yes. 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 That's absolutely right. And yeah, like you said, there's no filter, and why, have somebody else feel, because I think especially the elder ones, they also, I mean, I've seen with my students that, among them also sometimes they would have like conversation where one person might have seen something or read something, and they'll come and tell their friends. We don't know how authentic, or even, like we don't know what exactly goes in. So I think it's very important for us to, have that kind of a conversation, and communication channel should be very open on the subject, I think, with them. So I'll just like to show a comment. So this is from Rajni Burnwal, and she says, well said, and thank you so much for joining, Rajni. And even for the others, if you have any queries related to sexuality education for your children, for the teens, feel free to post in the comments, and I'll try to take them up at the end of the session. So Niyati, now coming to, of course, we spoke quite a few things about, your sessions and why sexuality education is important, and in understanding it. And, I was very curious to know, because especially, you, of course, talk to so many people about this, right? So what is the general sense that you get, that are we progressing, like, in the sense, I have always been curious that, are we truly progressing in terms of how open now we've become, talking about sex and sexuality, or is it still that, I mean, the taboo, do you think it's now getting better? I mean, because I think you would know better than probably any of us, because you do talk about this with many people. So what is the sense that you get?
So I have three things that's coming to my mind right away. One
Mhm.
is, yes, the parents are becoming a little more understanding, and they are
Mhm.
understanding the importance of sex education with all
Right.
the news coverings and the stories, hovering around safe, unsafe touch and sexual abuses. I think that's one of the major reasons why why the parents want their children to be educated.
Right.
Second is,
Right.
all the mothers especially feel that it's important for the girls to know about their periods before she gets it. I think because they themselves have gone through a lot of things. The boys are not yet there. I don't see a huge. No, I don't. I hardly see some shift when it comes to the boys' sex education, which
Mm.
kind of breaks my
That's
heart. But
sad.
that is
Yeah,
one
it
area we
is
need
sad.
to look
Yes.
into, because we women have really become, we've started talking, we've started
Mm.
expressing on in public, in on bigger platforms. World is listening to us, the society is listening to us. Similarly, I think the boys also need, they also need to
Of
understand a lot
course,
of things.
yes, yes, and it's
So,
really sad. I think, I mean, because
yeah,
because I think then they can tend to feel lost also, right? When they aren't getting that kind of awareness, or
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, so that's one area that I don't see a lot of progress
Mhm,
happening. The
mhm.
youth, which I will say maybe around 16 years as of today, around
Right.
15, 16, they are pretty open to talk about it. Again, they don't see any reason why you should not talk. They don't
Mm,
see any reason of
mm.
why I should hide. What is there in it? It's just natural. What is there to hide about it? So they're very open about the topic. The parents might, of this age group, the parents are not very confident because it's teenage at the end of it,
Yeah,
right? They
yeah,
think later, they
right.
act first. So that's where a lot of tension is. And a lot of parents do feel that if you start talking to them about sex and safe ways of having sex, they will probably start doing that. So
Mm,
even though we
mm.
do talk about contraceptives and safer ways and helping them understand, it's not to tell them that do this. We tell
Yes,
them
yes,
that these are the things that are available, but still there are chances of the girl getting pregnant or you catching the STDs. Those are the reasons we talk
yes,
about
yes.
contraceptives. And legally also we let them know that it's not, it's not legal to be in a sexual relationship till they're 18. So all this information is given to them. So teen parents are a little hesitant to give this
Mhm.
talk to their
Yeah, I
children.
understand. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
sex as a casual topic, as a society, yes, they are talking a lot about it now. The web series, the advertisements, the discussions, it's all around why
Yeah,
I should not talk about sex. So
right,
I think
right.
swinging from not talking at all to talking a lot, what they're missing out is the context. Sex is
Mm,
not something that, okay, I'm just in the mood, so I want to have sex. Not for me. And I don't think that's how it should be, because after a while, we've seen the consequences that a person goes through after so much of,
mm, mm.
it's like comfort food. The more you consume without understanding it, without responsibility, there are
Yes, yes.
consequences.
True,
So
true,
that
true.
way, sex has become very casual, I feel, rather than understanding the depth of it. It's just
Mm,
spreading like a
mm,
virus.
mhm.
So that
Right,
is
right.
something I am not very sure how our youth will understand it. But
Yes,
yeah, it is as a topic, it is becoming casual
I
more than ever.
understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's true. Very true. Yeah. So, Niyati, I know you touched upon a bit on the age appropriateness, when you were talking earlier. And I just wanted you to elaborate a little on that with respect to, see what happens. I think sometimes even children are different, right? So I see that some parents probably may be more comfortable talking about certain topics maybe a little earlier than maybe, I think it really varies so much. It also depends on the kind of relationship, say, like, say, for example, I have a very open and friendly relationship with my daughter, so she already knows about periods and a lot of other things, wherever I feel that yes, maybe at this age I can talk to her about it in a certain way that she can understand. But what is, so do you think that how important is this age appropriateness? Like, I mean, are there certain things we shouldn't at all talk about before a certain age, or do you think we should look at how the child is taking it? Like, what is your take on that?
see, there's definitely age appropriateness for any kind of information for that matter. So you won't talk about marriage and complicity of marriages to a child, right? For
Yes, yes,
multiple reasons. One, they will not understand, they're not mature
yes,
enough
of
to
course, yeah.
process that kind of information. Two, it can scare them off through,
Yeah,
from
right,
relationship.
right, right,
So there are
right.
multiple things that a child is not yet ready for. So so the younger the child and you've given the information, it's okay.
Hmm,
But once
hmm.
the child starts understanding, and then you give, unnecessary, or I would say something that he or she might not be in a space to accept it at that point in time, then it becomes a problem. So at
Right.
9, if I have to talk to my child about sex, I'm going to think twice of how to put it to her.
Yes.
I did that with my son, but it was easy because he came with half the concept already from his school. So I
Right.
knew I just had to go that path and explain it to him.
Hmm.
And it all depends on what is the context the child is asking you also. So that is something parents and teachers also, for that matter, have to keep in mind. But what happens is, the younger the child, and if it
Hmm.
becomes like a matter of just another subject. So when they're teaching frog life cycle or a butterfly life cycle, if they teach human life cycle, then it won't
Hmm.
remain a taboo at all. Zero.
Right.
If at that age they come to know of how humans are produced, there will be
Hmm.
no taboo around pregnancy, childbirth,
Yes.
sex,
Yes.
nothing.
Yes.
Because that's how it is done and everybody knows about it. So what's the big deal?
Yep.
But
Yep.
what we need to then teach them is, later when their age is appropriate, that now this is going to happen to you too. So by
Hmm.
age 12, you have to tell them you are going to feel, sexual. You might want to do certain things. This is what
Yep.
happens when you are sexual. And this is how you're going to take care of it, because you're still young. You cannot
Yes.
do it yet. So yes, you might have the urge to do bungee jumping, but you cannot bungee jump without your gears, without
Yes.
understanding
Yes.
responsibility.
Lovely. Yeah, that's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just put it in a context that they immediately get it, it's very easy to guide the kids.
Correct.
Most
I
kids, I will
agree.
I will say it that way. Most kids, some children just have their mind of their own, and no matter what you tell them and how much you tell them, they will just go ahead and do what they want to do any which
Of
way.
course.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have both kind of kids, but age appropriateness definitely is something that we should
We should
be
keep doing.
considering,
Right.
because a lot of times, this younger age, especially this middle age of 8 to 11, these are the
Hmm.
ones that
Hmm.
we don't know whether we should tell them or not tell them.
Exactly. That is the age group where I've seen a lot of my friends, also being very confused about should I tell this now or wait, I think
Yeah.
you're very right. That age is quite
So
confusing actually.
in this, so 8 to 11 is also one of the age where I'm doing the pre-puberty classes with them, the junior
Okay.
puberty classes. And trust me, each time I'm explaining periods to them and I'm talking about ovaries and eggs and, how the womb is preparing, and, there may be a baby, there may not be a
Yeah.
baby. They are stuck with that concept. How will the baby come there? What will happen? How will the uterus know that the baby is
Yeah,
there?
because yes, yes.
There's so many questions. So will the eggs come from both the ovaries? Why only one ovary? What
Right,
happens?
right, 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 right.
There's so much of curiosity and such natural curiosity. So
Yes,
there
of
is a
course.
lot of chance where it's like, इनको बोला जाए या नहीं बोला जाए? Should we
Ah,
tell them or should we
right.
not tell them? But because we've told the parents that this is not a topic we will be covering at this age, so I have to take the kids out of that topic and continue with the periods. But
Yes.
yes, it's one of the
It is
most
a challenge. Mm.
confusing age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and as you said, the linked questions come up, then it kind of becomes
Yeah.
challenging then. True,
Yeah.
true, true. Yeah. So, Niyati, now we spoke about, the parents' responsibility and what we can do as parents. But do you also feel that, in fact, every adult who is associated with a child, like it could be uncles, aunts, mentors, teachers, do you feel that it's actually a collective responsibility all of us have towards the next generation? Because I feel what happens is sometimes kids they could be in such a situation elsewhere also, right? Like maybe they say something and probably that time they are with an uncle or an aunt, or maybe it's in school, so and they may not get something satisfactory from there, or maybe they might get some different kind of a response. So in that sense, do you think that we should view it like a collective responsibility? Like say in my classes, suppose whenever something such comes up, I as a mentor feel that yes, it's my responsibility definitely to answer something in the correct way or handle it in the right way, and not just leave it to ki okay uske parents dekh lenge, like so what is your take on that? Like, do you feel that all of us must step up?
See, if you want a child to know something as a lesson for life, okay, for example,
Right, right.
because we all know, believe, and have accepted to wear clothes, the child does not question most of the times, why should I
Yeah,
wear it? Okay,
right.
most of the times the younger ones do, because they just don't
I was
understand
about
the
to say that the younger ones would definitely still do, but yes,
yeah,
yes.
but they still see everybody doing it, so they'll do it.
Yeah.
Something like when you enter a temple, there's usually silence. There's more about going inward. So
Mm.
it's always a collective as a society what they see, as their learning platform.
Mm.
Most of the times, after the child is about in the third grade, the child will start challenging the parents' belief systems. You say like that, but the world doesn't do like that. You
Yeah.
tell me, Mama, to say truth all the time, but look at them, everybody's lying. How do you challenge something like that? So it is
Right.
similar. If you want your child to have healthy habits, healthy
Mm.
hygiene, healthy sexual life, then everybody has to have that. At least
Yeah.
bombard with information collectively. Then
Right.
it's a personal choice of what you want to do or not. But here, even if I'm teaching, like if the teacher would have just shown them the body chart and with the
Mm.
eyes, nose, neck, chest, stomach, if they would have spoken about vulva and penises, there wouldn't be so many, giggles and
No.
whispers when
Right.
I'm talking about it. It's just that one body part that you missed out of the chart, and not a single teacher takes it up to say that I will teach. I'm sure
Yeah.
there is that one
So
single teacher, but I have not met that single teacher who says,
yeah, yeah, of course. Generally, yes, yes,
other
yes.
platform.
Mm.
So
Mm.
this is something, and it's a known fact that it takes a village to raise a child. So if
Yeah.
that is what we are looking at least all of us should say yes, approximately the same things to them. Then they know
Correct.
that yes, this is how the life is. So
Right.
yes, it's
Right.
absolutely a collective, teaching to the kids.
Yes, absolutely. Agree, agree. I would just like to show one comment. This is from one of the audience members. So Shweta says, I work with preschoolers and we have a session which deals with safe and unsafe touch and the circle of trust. And they really understand what we are saying. So really grateful to you, Anupama, for initiating this venture and for having Niyati over for this valuable session.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm
Thank
so happy
you.
to see this. Really.
Yeah, and I'm really glad, that people are, because the whole idea of doing this session was, for people to come forward and at least start talking and sharing even their experiences, on this. So Niyati, I know the kind of work you do, you also must be getting some bizarre comments. I'm sure, especially on social media. I have seen, how people, some think that if somebody is a sexuality educator means, so, like they have this very typical thoughts about them. So, can you share some of these any of the bizarre comments that you get, and also positive comments, like, some kind of positive feedback which really stayed with you? So, just talk about both of it, maybe.
Positive feedback usually is, I think the people are just happy that somebody is talking about it. I'm sure we have many more sexuality educators now, but most of them are still stuck to puberty and safe unsafe touch. Very few are actually
Yes.
going ahead and talking with teens and youth and the married couples all together. So
Right.
that's one. I think there was this one suggestion I had when I was early on in this industry, and they said, "Don't call yourself a sex educator, Niyati. Call yourself a parenting coach, and then do it
Oh,
quietly,
God.
discreetly. You should
What
not,
teaching him? I know.
yeah, don't call yourself a sex educator." And I was like, you know what? That exactly defies what I'm saying. I
Exactly.
am who I am, and this is what I'm doing. If I'm going to hide away from the word sex,
Hmm.
what am I telling others to do? So that's not
Exactly. Right.
happening.
Right.
So that was
Right.
one of the bizarre advices I got. But I do understand the concern of that person, and that person is a well-wisher. I understand that, but this is how the society perceives, And of course, I get all these funny expressions when I introduce myself into networking groups or wherever I go, and they're not expecting me, and I go like, "Hi, I'm a sexuality educator," and they're like, "What? What is that? Is that even a job?" So.
Oh, I am not surprised.
I think most negative also, when I say they are just about 10, 12 here and there over all these years,
Which is
which I
good. Which
got,
is good. Yeah.
yes, yes, absolutely, which I got from LinkedIn, and they would say
Oh.
that just get off this platform. It's for
Oh.
professionals. It's not for people like you. One of them actually, yeah, she was a grandmother, and she's like, you are
Oh.
actually inviting people to what was she saying, you're actually inviting people to have sex with younger girls. And I'm like, where are you getting all this
I
from?
know. Yeah. Yeah. It's
So,
the
And
internal
social
mind.
media is social media is something where you cannot put up a whole story. Sometimes they are just thoughts, they are posts. You have to read between the lines, you have to understand, and only people
Yeah,
who follow you for a while get what you're saying.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Random people want to come in, they just read a little bit and they're like, okay, like some posts go
Mm,
viral. And
mm,
so I understand these are bold statements sometimes I put out there, my thoughts I put out
mm.
there.
Right, right.
And I also am anticipating some kind of, that kind of reaction. But then sometimes it goes way beyond understanding. And
I'm sure.
that
Yeah.
also gives me an insight of how much we are not understanding about our own selves.
Mm, mm,
So one question I remember from 11th grader, and
mm.
the questions I was talking to you about, the chits that I
Uh-huh.
take from
Right,
in the
right,
beginning
right,
of this
right,
subject.
right.
One of the boy asked me. It was a co-ed class, and one of the boy asked me that how do I get a chick in bed? And I just stared at that chit for about 5-10 seconds, taking it in that this child actually had the guts to write this down and send it to me,
Mm.
challenging me as a teacher. Now answer, now
Yeah,
answer. I asked you a question, you wanted questions, no? Now answer.
right,
And
right.
of course, I did not know who that child was, but over the period, I got to know this group of kids. Once they are
Mm.
like that, it's obvious they're going
Yeah.
anywhere. They show, who they were. And later on, so even with that question, I definitely gave a strong message to the crowd, and the girls were super happy that I gave it back to them. But these are the kind of comments I do get.
Mm,
So
mm,
get off LinkedIn. Who are you to teach us? Are you
mm.
saying that we should? What you are saying that we should have sex? I said no. That's your choice. I'm not saying you should have sex. Or you're telling the kids that sex is okay. They will go and have sex. I'm like, I'm not. I'm telling them sex is okay, but I'm not. I'm telling them, I mean, chocolates are okay, but that doesn't mean you go and eat chocolates all the time. So there's a way to do things. So yeah,
Yes,
there is a lot
yes,
of misunderstanding
yeah.
around it.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, I'm sure. And like you said, sometimes people don't see the entire context. They might see something
Yeah,
and think,
yeah.
okay, like you're encouraging people to do something. So yeah,
Exactly. So one thing that's striking me, one last thing of what you
yeah, yeah.
asked, there was
Sure.
a young
Yeah.
girl from the group of, I think there were 500 kids in a hall. So this school gave me like, almost the whole school was sitting there, 500 kids, and this girl comes to me. She was, I think, about fourth grader at that time, and she comes and tells me, "I wish you were my mom." And while
Oh,
I was touched, it also broke my heart, like what she must be going through otherwise, like
yes, yes.
a mother in somebody who just spoke for half an hour. So I can't, let go of that compliment. At the same time, can't let go thinking what she must be going through.
Yeah, I completely understand. Yeah, but it's really, and I think the very fact that you get even those kind of bizarre comments is also proves why we need somebody like you. I think that's all the more reason why we need you to do what you do. So before I go on to my last question, Niyati, there was an audience question. So the lady was asking that. Should consent also be made a part of sex education for children and teens, and especially for teens, because they probably don't they are not taught to take no for an answer. So basically I think the question is that should consent also now become some an important part of this education, and maybe you already talk about this also. So yeah, if you could just share your thoughts on that.
Consent is a part of sex education, and consent should not be taught at the age of 13. Consent
Mhm.
is, I'm going a little deeper into this answer.
Mhm. Yes, very
Consent is a
important. Yeah, yeah.
parenting topic. Consent
Mm.
is not a teen topic. Consent is a
Yes,
parenting topic. A
yes,
parent needs to understand how to teach consent while the child is young. You
yes.
cannot tell the child now that you're feeling sexual, now understand consent.
Mm,
There's
mm, mm,
already
mm.
a
True.
mindset that's developed. There's already
Mm,
a character that's almost developed. There's
right.
already a way of thinking and opinions that have already been developed. So
Yes.
I would say that's, of course, you have to teach them about respect and consent, but I would still want to say start early. When you don't force those food into their mouth, telling them one last bite for mama, one last bite for daddy, and you are just taking that child onto a, I mean, just, you're just manipulating the whole thing. You're tickling them, they tell you to stop, just stop. Even though
Mm,
they might want it more, they will ask for it. but let them learn that when I say don't or I say stop, it stops. And that's what
Yes.
I have to do with somebody else. It takes
Yes.
time
Yes.
to develop these habits. But yes, you have to talk about consent and respect, and do not talk about it as a intense topic.
Huh. Yes.
Don't talk to them about like how important it is. Tell them it's just the way to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's very important, I think, to look at it just like, and like you said, I think, it applies to everything. Like you said, it's not just about, I mean, like you said, like when they're very small, we need to, start making it
You
like
know,
something which is just how everybody should be. Yeah.
right. A teacher, when he or she teaches a child to say, "May I come in into the classroom?" I mean, that stays with us even in college. We'll always still
Yeah.
ask. We still knock on
Yeah.
the doors and we say, "May I come in?" Like, is it
Yes.
the right?
Yes.
That is something. It just has to be. It cannot be a sit down lecture for them. Even though we are doing it, we play games with them. We give them practical ways of understanding that. So we have this concept of, it's basically a British video that's available on YouTube about tea. Would you give tea to somebody who's unconscious? You wouldn't. So
Hmm.
you wouldn't have sex also with somebody who's
Yeah,
unconscious.
I remember this. I remember watching this somewhere. Now I can't recollect, but yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a brilliant way to teach
Yes.
consent to it's not something that you need to lecture them. It's just something they have to get it. So give it to
Yes.
them the way they get it. Like, I wouldn't do this to somebody if they were in that state of mind or
Yeah.
that state of
Right.
health. I
Right.
wouldn't do it any other ways. So
Yes.
but
Yes.
yes, you have to teach consent and respect to both girls and boys. It's not
Yes.
just for boys, it's also for the girls. And
Yes. Definitely.
every parent should also exercise that respect and consent when it is about giving it to the child also. So don't only
Very true.
expect them to know, they also have to receive it to feel what it means.
True, true. I agree completely. Yes. In fact, it could be something as small as, if the child doesn't want to be kissed even by you, so give them that kind of a space. I think it's just these little things go a long way. So that's absolutely right, Niyati. So before we wrap up this session, your last thoughts on, we spoke about so many things. So if you could just give some practical points which all of us can follow to raise a more confident, empowered and aware generation when it comes to sexuality. So little things which you think we all can keep in mind in our day-to-day lives, some practical
Um,
tips.
Sure. So I think one is, please educate yourselves as parents, teachers,
Very important.
neighbors, aunts, aunties, because any child can come to you and ask you anything at any point in time. So be ready as a society to teach the child the right, not the right way, but something that helps them have a healthy life, a
Yes.
safe life. Okay. So that is something that I think it's just a responsibility and a duty of every adult today, whether you have a child or you don't. So that's one thing. So be educated, read ahead of the child, be ready what kind of questions they might ask you, what are the other parents saying. So be in those peer groups and don't talk only about what food you're making and what you're giving in the dabba. Also talk about these things without hesitation. That,
Yeah.
yeah, my child likes to play with his penis. Does any other child do that? So let's collectively understand this. It's not just my child, it's a lot of other children doing the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Have more talks, call people who will genuinely give you practical ways with all these challenges, and not just
Yeah.
lectures of how important it is. Everybody knows
Yeah.
it's important, okay?
Exactly.
Subconsciously we
How?
all
Yeah.
know how important this is, and that we need to do it. Sometimes just because out of our own non-readiness, we don't give it to the children. But
Agree.
once you have the channels, then there is no looking back. Please give it
Right.
to the kids.
Right.
You
Right.
yourself look into your sexual life too, because when you are comfortable with sex and sexuality,
Mm.
it will be easier to give it to your kids. you
Right.
know that is something, again, even though we are with our spouses, with our partners, we do have sex, we are emotionally connected, but still we don't talk about it. We don't talk
Mhm.
about our desires, our health, our fantasies, or whatever it may be. We're still quiet about it. So I think
Mm.
start there. Become very
Mm.
comfortable with the topic. Now, it's not like you have to talk about sex all the time wherever you go. It's not like that.
Mm.
You don't have to stand on the stage and talk about it if it's not necessary. But
Mm.
whenever necessary, be okay to talk about it.
Yes, yes.
So read, attend workshops, talk to peers, talk to doctors. Whenever you have a question, look up for answers and
Yep.
be 2 steps ahead of the child. So that's
True.
something
So
all
that's I
parents
think the
do.
key, to being
Yeah.
aware of that. I think, yeah, that's really some great advice. In fact, I think even books are such a great way. In fact, Niyati, you also have your own books, right? On the side. In fact, that was the first time I saw Niyati in person. So yeah, so do check out even the books by Niyati, and I think those are also great ways to actually let kids also read about it and initiate that kind of conversation. So great suggestions, and I must say, Niyati, this has been I mean, not just as somebody who was the host, but as a parent, it has been really a very enriching discussion, and I truly have learned a lot. So thank you so much for taking out time and doing this for me today.
Totally my pleasure. Totally my pleasure. Thank you so much, Anupama.
Thank you. Bye, and bye to the audience as well who've been there and who've engaged. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to post, and we can always get Niyati to answer them even later. So, bye, everyone.